and the paintings appear as in a dream. I wish they would only take me as I am. Good afternoon, honorable judges, teachers, parents, staff, and students. My name is Marie, and today I'll be proving how Vincent Van Gogh changed the ways of art in the 20th century. Vincent Van Gogh was born on March 30th, 1853, in Utrecht, Holland. He was the oldest child of Theodorus Van Gogh, who was a minister of Dutch Reformed Church, and Anne Cornelia Carpenters. Art and religion were two traditional careers in Van Gogh's family. When Vincent was a child, he was serious, silent, and thoughtful. Although he lacked confidence, he was highly emotional. His emotions were later displayed in his works of art. His early education was mostly being homeschooled, taught by a governess, until later he was sent to a boarding school, which he was not fond of in that time because he did not want to leave his family. Van Gogh had many failed attempts with work. He enjoyed his first job working with the art dealers, but his employment was soon terminated because he kept suggesting to the customers to buy this painting and not that painting. He worked as a supply teacher, but he received no pay, and his last job was working as a missionary. And that was when he started questioning religion, adopted it as a logical conclusion, and decided to focus on art instead. Van Gogh's early art was static and followed typical art rules at the time. One of these rules is for the painter to respond like a camera. That means you have to paint exactly what you see in this room, for example. You cannot go beyond that limit and not use your imagination. The colors he also used in that time were dull and ordinary, like brown, shades, black and white, and gray, those kind of colors. His art was too static and not full of movement. Over the years, he started to ignore these rules and started to paint like post-impressionist. That includes impasto, meaning thick bars of paint, with texture, vivid colors, and bold brushstrokes that involve movement and contrasting colors. His artwork now looked unnatural and were more imaginative. This allowed him to use colors to create mood, emotion, and feeling to his art. His artwork is now full of movement. Van Gogh's last painting is called The Wheat Fields. Now imagine this, what I told you about post-impressionist. Imagine the wheat fields in bold brushstrokes with a little entrance, the mountains, and the moody blue skies with the corner house, and the crows flying over the wheat field. In that time, crows were symbolized as death. 2 days later, Van Gogh shot himself or exactly painted his last painting, and he died 2 days later in the hospital. Van Gogh had many failed attempts in his life. He failed with his education and with his careers. He suffered from mental illness, which in that time there was no cure. He had no one to talk to, but he kept doing what he loved to do, his art. He learned to paint away on canvas from what he reacted to the world. He painted and drew over 2,000 artworks in his lifetime. But now today, Vincent Van Gogh's work of art, about his troubled life, is among the most popular ones of art and changed art history. For example, Tom Thompson, who painted West Wind, and now that's our Canadian symbol, and who also influenced Group of Seven. Van Gogh's artwork encouraged many artists to go beyond imagination and not follow the typical art rules, like I explained earlier, Tom Thompson. Van Gogh personally influenced me because I realized that when I learned about him for my speech and looked at his paintings and his drawings, I realized that, you know what, it's not my job to copy the whole exact thing on paper. That's the camera's job. My job is to be creative, put emotion and color into it. Without Van Gogh's placement of imagination, emotion, and perspective into his canvases, it would have taken the world much longer to accept this way of art. Thank you.